Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back. It's Thursday. I know. Not too much is going on. I'm waiting for a package to come in. Hasn't been delivered yet. Probably won't arrive till tomorrow or maybe even Saturday. But anyways, I thought I'd do a video regardless of having a lack of a new item to share. But we have something to burn and enjoy, and we'll talk about that very shortly. But hope you guys are having a good week so far. Week's almost over. Tomorrow's Friday. I know. Where did it all go? Time just is over like in a snap. You know, it just keeps on going and progressing, and you're just like, come back here. You know? It's like oh my goodness. Yeah. It's like a fish. You know, it's all slippery. It's like, oh gosh. Anyways, had a nice Tuesday, which was Cinco de Mayo, and went out to a fun Mexican restaurant with the lady and enjoyed that. And that was very enjoyable. And, you know, just been working and doing my thing. This weekend, I'm going to be working at the Hemingway Cigar Lounge. That's my second job. And it was a lot of fun. Last Sunday, one of my subscribers stopped in. That would be Bill. Shout out to Bill. And, you know, he came in and made his introduction and said that he follows me on YouTube and everything. I was like, oh, so you're a subscriber? He's like, yeah. And we talked about YouTube. He also is a content provider. And we talked about a lot of fun things, a lot of antique related stuff. And, you know, just a really cool guy. And he spent a few minutes there in the shop, and his wife was sitting in the car, so he didn't want to stay too long. But he did buy a few sticks, and, you know, he said he'd be back, so sounds good. Thanks for coming in, Bill. Great to meet you. It's always a lot of fun to meet some of my subscribers, and some of them have become good friends. Absolutely. Yep. Pretty special. I like what I'm doing here. I'm glad you guys like it too, for sure. Anyways, it's kind of warm outside, but I thought I'd come out here and make a video for everybody for this week, regardless of the lack of something new and entertaining. But this is a CT Ham number 20 Searchlight. I've shared it before, pretty soon after I got it, you know. But yeah, this is a very special piece. Makes beautiful light. Is actually quite bright. Now, some of you might be asking, what was the general purpose of this lantern? What was the intended use? Was it railroad use or whatever? No, it was general purpose. You wanted something big, and you wanted to light up an area at night. This was it. And, you know, multi-purpose. It throws out a lot of light. Probably makes about 10, 11 candle power, maybe a little brighter. When you crank up that wick to a reasonable amount of height there. But this reflector throws light out about 25, 30 feet ahead. So it's actually pretty useful. That's right. Well, it's funny because a lot of people say, oh, it's not that bright, you know. How could people use these things back in the day? They were not that bright. Well, I differ there. Because back then they didn't have LED lighting. They didn't have any of this overly bright fluorescent or LED lighting to make this look dim. Because this is all they had. Now if you take one of these out to the country where there's no city lights or anything in a much more darker environment, you will see just how bright these are. And they're actually quite adequate. They're very bright, they're generous light. And you can actually see by them quite a bit. Yeah. I think with the advent of electricity and also our modern world with LED lighting being what it is, I think we've really become too used to light pollution. I think in general a lot of people are afraid of the dark for whatever reasons. And they have their reasons, but exterior lighting are so bright, I think the misconception is that if something's really well lit, then it's going to be safer. You know, because nefarious things can happen in the dark where there's not a lot of lighting. Well, it hasn't changed, has it? Bad things still happen at night in even well lit areas. Yep. Yeah, well, it can slow it down a little bit, but Yeah, we have overlit our world at night. And I remember when I was a kid, a lot of areas were dark. Not saying that that's better, but I remember you could sit out in your front yard and actually look at stars more so than now. Yeah. Exactly. You could. And it was wonderful. You know, and I could drive up in the mountains and see a lot more stars there. Still can to a certain degree, but depends on what side of the mountain you're on. You know, because if you're on the Los Angeles side, you're still going to get a little bit of light pollution. But over the last couple of years, there's been some initiatives passed to try and reduce light pollution. And light pollution is just exterior lighting from buildings, exterior lights and street lighting that just is just on to create atmosphere or just to light areas for security or whatever. And it just, all that light just goes up and it washes out what you can see. Since I work at Griffith Observatory, I'm friends with several astronomers and telescope operators, and they complain about this bitterly. And there was one day there was a blackout throughout the city of LA in the 1990s, and they told me about that and what it was like to be at Griffith when that happened. And he says you could see the Milky Way from Los Angeles. Imagine that. The Milky Way. You have to be in the middle of Mojave Desert to see the Milky Way, or even have a chance to see it at all out there if there's no moon. The moon will cause light pollution too. But yeah, it's fascinating that people saw the Milky Way and were scared. They were like, "What's that in the sky?" They didn't know what that was. They didn't know what that was. They didn't know what the Milky Way was. They never saw it. So when they saw it, they're like, oh gosh. But yeah, light pollution is what ruining your view of beautiful stars and nebula and all that stuff. Now, is it important to light up an area outside at night? Sure. It makes us feel safer. It does. But I think we've gone a little beyond what is necessary or what is rational. You know, I had this discussion with a friend of mine out in Ukaipa, my friend Josh. Shout out to Josh there. But he used to live in the Live Oak Canyon area. And for a long time, he was one of the only neighbors. There was only one house or a couple houses out there. They were all far apart, you know. But you would walk out there and see all these stars and constellations, and everything was great. Excuse me. And people started to move in near him. I remember one house was built on a hill, not too far from his place. And when it was finished, it had all these bright fluorescent exterior lights all over the house, all over it. And I was like, well, why do you move to the country where it's dark if you're afraid of the dark? You move out there to be away from people, and then you light your house like a flying saucer or a spaceship. And that's all you could see out there. You'd walk out, and it's nice and dark, and you hear the crickets chirping. You go around the corner of the house, and then it's just like you could almost hear it buzzing. Yeah. What's the point? What's the point? I can just hear him. Rob, it doesn't concern you. It's how people want to light their properties, okay? Sure. Do it in the city. Don't ruin what's already precious out there. But anyways, I digress. But light pollution is finally becoming a real problem. It's not necessary to overly light any area. And now a lot of the lighting that's being installed now is warmer temperature. And it's also facing down. And it's also not as bright, so it doesn't reflect off of concrete and cause light to go up. So that's good. Yeah, it is good. Blue temperature light is actually very unhealthy. It's all UV light, and also blue temperature light, also from your screen of your phone or your TV, it kills melatonin, so it reduces your melatonin rate, so you're not getting a good sleep. And there's been many studies that have proven this to be fact. And blue temperature light is actually very depressing for a lot of people. I know I'm very affected by it. I'm very sensitive to light temperatures. Now, what is cold versus warm temperature? Some people don't know this. This is warm temperature. See how yellow it is? It's warm. Now, most incandescent light has a warm temperature profile. It's not yellow like this. It's a little more white, but does have kind of a yellowish tint to it. But it can present items and things in your home in more of a natural light aesthetic. Okay? Cold temperature makes everything monochromatic. You can't really tell the values of colors or anything with a true cold temperature environment. So a lot of people I see light their homes with cold temperature, and they think that's a modern way of lighting your house. Sure it is a modern way of lighting your house, but that's not what you want to live in. That's very uncomfortable. At least for me, it's very uncomfortable. It's repulsive. I can't sit in an environment that's just blue temperature lighting and everything looks the same. It's not me. It actually brings my happiness down. It makes me depressed. It's very depressing. Very bleak. Yeah, it's like living under a freeway overpass. It's just like, why? Why would you do that to yourself in your own home? But a lot of people don't seem to be fazed by it. There's people that are sensitive to light and people that are not sensitive to light or are not even aware. They're just like, well, light is light. It just makes you be able to see things. True, you can see things by any temperature light, but there's definitely some light that is a little more conducive to health than not. But yeah, this thing, it actually really works in a dark environment when you have no outside or exterior lighting to conflict with it. And then you really get an idea what that was supposed to be like, what it was out there in the frontier or out on a farm, how much light this could actually produce. And I've used it out camping or outside of my property during power outages, and it actually does a pretty good job. And they're great. Now, a lot of these things people want $250, maybe even up to $400 for one of these. Now, they've made a variety of sizes, clear up to a number 3 burner, I think. They got big, but I think this one is a little more common. The number 20 CT hams are more common than not. I just paid under about $100 for this thing, shipped, and I think I got a pretty good deal on it, considering. And I was never going to buy one because I didn't want to spend what everyone else was asking, especially for parts lanterns. There's stuff that comes up for sale, and a lot of things are missing, or they're battered, or they're missing parts or globes or whatever. So, yeah. Why would you charge so much money for something that's not complete? But I got lucky with this one. I think the only thing it really is missing is a fuel cap. I have a cork. I put a little cork back there, It works. The farmer fix. But yeah, it's a nice piece. I like it. So this is the share for this week. It's the CT ham number 20. Beautiful piece with all traces of blue Japanning and all that stuff. Circa 1905, right around there. Yeah. I have this one hanging on the wall typically in the garage, and so when I'm out here hanging out with just myself or with the lady, I usually burn it, and it creates a nice atmosphere. Yes, it does. But yeah, it's good stuff. Well, anyways, guys, I wanted to check in with you guys and share a cool lantern that one you haven't seen for a while, and give a little talk about lighting in general and why it's important. That's right. Excuse me. Yeah, allergies, guys. I'm sorry. Just temperatures up and down, and everything's blooming, and it's just kind of wreaking some havoc with me. But anyways, I'll live. I'll survive. Yeah. But next week we'll have something new to share, and I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that you guys will like it. So also, I'm going to be trying to offer some things soon. I know I've been talking about this. I haven't had the time or the bandwidth to really go through stuff and you know, put some things up for sale, either on the Tubular Group or on Marketplace. But whatever the case is, things will be available this month for purchase. So keep your eyes peeled. I will definitely be putting it on Facebook, either in the group or on Marketplace. And you guys can also just leave a comment and see if I have anything I'm willing to sell or whatnot. But at that point, we'll see what happens. So you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks again for stopping by. And we'll be doing it again a week from now. And hopefully my allergies won't be as bad as they are today. All right, guys. We'll take it easy. We'll see you again a little later. Bye-bye. Sit, Boo Boo, sit. Good dog.